The first thing that has always worked for me is never allowing somebody to have leverage on you.
I miss shit because I didn't want to that person.
That's me too.
That would like
good.
That would like
me too. Like that's great. But I don't even. But the key is to like. I've gotten to the point where I don't even realize I'm missing it anymore.
Oh shit.
Because it becomes practice. Honestly, I'll give you a good example. Look at our table right now. Do you know how serious amount of food this is for so many people around the world?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was like, my parents would be revolted.
Right? So I look at this, right? This is how I look at your question. There's so much to eat. You don't need.
Oh, right.
So I don't think like, oh, I better go like for you, right? It's like, oh, I hate that person, but that person is the person that plays the record, or that person picks the playlist for the 84 million person playlist on Spotify or SoundCloud. I'm kind of just like, meh. Like I don't even like I'm like, to me, this is why, if you really break down what I'm always saying, I'm just like, bring so much value to the end person so that you have the most leverage. Amazon gives us the best thing. We all love Amazon because it's the best buying experience. Thus, Amazon will kill everybody else because they're the best to the consumer. I want you in control of the thing that most people see, because if you bring the most value, then you have the leverage. Everybody comes to me because I'm giving value at scale with no expectation of anything else.
I wake up some days and I feel like I'm going to take over the world and conquer everything in life. And then the next day I feel like the most insecure person in the world. And I really think those low days are the days that you have to give yourself affirmations, that you have to talk yourself out of that funk, that you have to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who aren't going to take you down. I mean, like, I had a boyfriend who, you know, was a negative person in my life. And did I realize it early enough? No, it took me 2 years to understand that. And it was perpetual negativity. And I think that if you have the tools to make that bad day a good day, you fake it till you make it, you use those affirmations, you too can have a good day. But it's really just about making a conscious effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Fake it till you make it.
That's how I got here.
Yeah.
Being a child star, as they call it, or having worked as a minor, you do sort of have to be aware of the kind of trajectory, and also kind of aware that people are viewing your performances through a very different lens. I saw a really interesting article yesterday that, you know, people had seen the trailer and they're like, oh, you know, Emma Watson, like, scandalous, like really trying to push the envelope and step away from Hermione and Harry Potter and whatever else, and it's like, I'm just kissing someone, you know, and it's kind of like this huge deal, and it's, so, you know, you're aware of that, but you also, I don't like to try and let all of that noise affect my choices and my decisions, because ultimately, if you live like that, then you know, I think it would close me off to a lot of opportunities and experiences.
What I decided to do was create a restaurant called 15 that took unemployed kids, homeless kids from prison, and create a restaurant that was a legit top-end restaurant that all the profits would train those kids. And we made a documentary about it. And the documentary changed everything in British sort of, the stuff, you know, about kids and that sort of, that genre of sort of observational documentary. They loved it. It was like rated like through the roof. Let's be really honest, I didn't do it because I was a really nice, kind person. You know, I did it because I was a young, romantic, cocky kid with the idea. You know, I always say I wanted to do it and I could do it, so I did do it. And no one was going to stop me. My dad told me not to do it. He really didn't believe it. He hated the idea. He said, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. You know, basically saying, you know, once, you know, if that's it, you know, don't mess with it, it's done. And I deeply disagreed.
So there was a little bit of rebellion there, like people telling you couldn't do it, or
it was uncomfortable, because the thing is, because I was wild in the sense of just doing it like single-mindedly, There was about 3 weeks when officially I was bankrupt, but we hadn't quite. Luckily, I got another royalty check from a book, which just saved my ass at the last minute. So, I mean, it was exciting, it was wild, it was romantic, it was risky, it was stupid, and it was the best thing I ever did.
Real self knows the truth. No matter what mask or what face you wear in the world, your real self knows the truth. And there was a time in my life when I acted like I knew a truth that I didn't know. And the truth I didn't know was the depth of my value and my worth. You see, I had already been an author that had sold over 6 million books, 14 different titles. I had already been on my own television show. I had traveled around the world. I had spoken to hundreds of thousands of people, and still I did not know or value my own worth. So I had a very big opportunity to go forward and to be on what was once called the Oprah Winfrey Show. Yes, and I went on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and Miss Winfrey asked me back again and again and again, and eventually I became part of her Change Your Life faculty. And it was all good. I had written 13 books. I had traveled all over the country. I had done her show repeatedly, but I didn't know my own sense of worth. So what happened? I tried to live in a place that I didn't believe was true for me, and eventually I crashed and burned. Crashed and burned by leaving the Oprah Winfrey Show and going on to another network and doing another show that didn't even survive a season, all because I didn't know my worth. Now, it would have looked like all sorts of external circumstances. Oh, there was a miscommunication between me and Miss Winfrey, and the other network was offering me a lot of money, and why shouldn't I take a big business deal? No, It was about me not knowing my own worth. Me not being able to stand in the miracle of being on the Oprah Winfrey Show repeatedly among honored teachers without having to work hard for it, because that was what I had been taught. The matter with me was that I didn't know how to receive a gift, a blessing, without working hard for it. So when things came to me easily, I blew them up. It's self-sabotage or procrastination or forgetting or whatever it is. That opportunity went away because I didn't know my worth. That's the kind of truth we have to tell each other. We have to be aware of it, we have to acknowledge it, and we have to accept it.
Trust your gut. It's so important to trust your gut. You know, I saw a man speak one time and he said, "I'll prove to you in 4 words there's no such thing as a bad idea." And he said, "Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." So I'm here today to prove to you in 2 words there's no such thing as a bad idea, and that's footless pantyhose. So no matter what your ideas are, you're doing something better than your competitors. That's why you're in business. You've thought of an idea. That's why you're here. And then be prepared for the opportunity.
You know, it's just a gut feeling. I think I always trust my gut. That's all I have. Even when I'm working, and you're thinking about the shape of a scene and how it should be played, and your head can often get in the way, and you've got to trust your gut. And it's just, if I'm inspired, if my curiosity is piqued, and I want to chase this possibility down, that I see in front of me on my desk. You know, it's some of you may have heard me say this before, but I'm embarrassed to say I always speak in metaphors. I don't know how to speak in any other way, and for me, acting is kind of like playing the piano, and if the piano is the human condition, and we all have every single note on that 88 key board within us. And for me, every role, I want to be able to play every note. And sometimes, if a character or a story seems to stretch me in some way, seems to offer up an experience that is new, that is a different chord or a different tune, that is real and true and human, and accessible, and no matter how joyous or loving or warm or how dark or painful, if it seems like an interesting shape to inhabit, I know if I'm running towards it already.
Something bad might happen to you in order to teach you a lesson to prepare you for something better later on. I know it's hard to think like that in the moment of the bad thing happening, but if you really think about it, all the negative things and the positive things that led you to where you are today got you to where you are today. And if not for those negative and positive things, you might not be here. You might not have the great job you just got, or the little girl sitting next to you, anything. Like you can't live with any regrets, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all a learning process from the beginning to where you are now to where you will be. You're learning the whole way, and you're gonna drop some stuff. You're gonna fall on your face. You're gonna break some eggs, and that's just part of what it is to be alive.